It's relatively unusual for me to take a call in a committee stage, but I won't be sitting in the chair again on this bill. But there are a couple of concerns, technical concerns, that I do want to place on the record of the House. And the more I've looked at it, the more concerned that I am. I'm speaking in particular to Clause 2 of the bill, which indicates that the bill is to come into force today or tomorrow, depending on when it gets through and when it is checked. But because it is coming in so quickly, Mr Chairman, my argument is that it's got to be technically right in its entirety. And the couple of points that I want to check with the Minister to make sure that we have got the drafting exactly as the government wants it. The first one goes to Clause 17C, which is outside this, but it is of time essence. And the question is, if there is an individual who, in the Prime Minister's word, is a murdering rapist, has finished their sentence in Australia, goes to Christmas Island for 6 months and 1 day, and then returns here, are they intended to be covered? Because they're not covered by the bill. The drafting of the bill does not have them covered. A person who is 1 day out of Christmas Island will not be covered by this bill the way it is currently drafted. The next question that I want to, because they finished the sentence 6 months before, Christmas Island is not part of their sentence. So they won't be covered by it. The next question I want to ask, and I will put on the record that I have had a discussion with individuals who are responsible for the bill about it, and they have a different opinion because they rely on the Acts Interpretation Act. But it goes to 17A and B, and whether offence, whether that offence or an offence and that conviction are automatically considered in the plural. And I want to put to the Minister the case of someone who has had 10 convictions of assault and been sentenced to 4 months on each of them. So 10 convictions of assault, sentenced to 4 months on each of them.
There is a peroration.
Because they are separate convictions for separate offences, that means that they don't meet the criteria according to this bill. So they can be quite a serious offender, quite a serious serial offender, but completely different offences. They haven't just beaten up 6 people in one pub, they've been to 6 separate pubs and beat people up in each of them. So they've had different convictions, different offences. Now that's not cumulative. They are separate. They are separate offences. The sentencing might end up being cumulative, but because they're separate offences, then my argument is that this does not apply. So it is a pretty simple series of questions. I know that that some officials are of the opinion that an offence means offences, and that conviction means those convictions, but generally, Mr Chairman, when this Parliament is drafting laws and it deliberately means plural, because plural is more serious than singular, it says so. It says an offence or offences, and it says that conviction or those convictions. And in my opinion, this bill doesn't do that. I want to place it on the record, and every argument that Mr Parker has used earlier as to a method of getting this bill better drafted applies.
I call Jacinda Ardern.